Ms. Goddard, you and your mother claim the defendant, Damon Harrison, purposefully impregnated you to trap you, but has since avoided the responsibility of taking care of your daughter, Aniyla, since she was born.
Yes, Your Honor, that's correct.
You're suing for a paternity test and for $900 for college expenses you lost when you were forced to drop out.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Harrison, you claim you've tried to get a DNA test for months because you know you are not Aniyla's father, and today's results will clear your name.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so Ms. Goddard, why do you believe that Mr. Harrison purposefully got you pregnant?
Your Honor, I know that he purposely got me pregnant because he told me himself, Your Honor.
Did you get her pregnant on purpose?
Yeah, I got her pregnant on purpose, Your Honor.
You did?
Yes.
And why?
Because we were in love. We were planning to have a baby, but she didn't want to have it. She wanted to go to school. And
so let me understand something. If you say you got her pregnant on purpose, why are we here? Why aren't you claiming, honoring, and taking care of this child?
I know the child's not mine. Because
you say you know the child's not yours, and yet you also say you got her pregnant on purpose.
We were going together for a year. We were in love. So I decided, you know, I wanted to start a family. So I tried to start a family in which I assumed that this baby is mine or not. I don't know, to be honest. She cheated on me, basically. She cheated on me with another guy. A couple of my friends walk up to me and they'd tell me that, you know, she was cheating on you since the beginning of everything, since we've been going together. So I wanted to know if this baby is mine or not.
So you started hearing rumors?
Yes. A lot of rumors, not just one person, not two, but multiple, a lot. So I wanted to know if this baby is mine or not.
Your Honor?
Yes, Ms. Goddard.
I admitted to Mr. Harrison that I had intercourse with another man as we were together, and he still proceeded through my pregnancy and the birth knowing that.
So you admitted that you had had sex with someone else?
Yes, I did.
And he stayed with you?
Yes, because he said he knew that was his child because he purposely did it, and he knows it.
I don't think you all understand that you can purposefully try to get somebody pregnant, but if you're sleeping with somebody else too, it could be the other person's. You understand that, right?
Yes.
You're saying, Ms. Goddard, this cost you the opportunity to go to college?
Yes, it did, Your Honor.
How?
I also I have here the payment that I made for orientation and the supplies also that my mom spent for me to go to college.
Jerome, may I see that, please?
And here, Your Honor, here's a defer from my college stating that I had to leave and they were going to give me a chance to come back in another year, but because I got pregnant, I could not go, Your Honor.
Jerome, hand me that other piece of evidence Ms. Goddard is handing you. This is an itemized list of college expenses, your dorm supplies, bedding, towels, personal care items totaling $400, and then a summer orientation fee of $500, which totals $900.
Correct, Your Honor.
All the things you've bought getting ready for college.
Yes.
This is the proof that you were actually admitted into school, but they deferred your admission because you weren't able to go.
Yes.
You're asking for those expenses and those costs to be returned to you because you feel like you lost them because Mr. Harrison got you pregnant on purpose.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Mom, this is really difficult for you.
It's
because
very difficult.
Your daughter was on her way to college.
Absolutely. Not only was she on her way to college, my daughter had an extremely hard teen life. And she got in a lot of trouble in school. She learned her lesson. She turned her life around. She then went on to school, got on the principal's list, had honors classes, went forward to go to school, got accepted into Hartford. She paid her dues by taking responsibility for what she did, which he has lacked.
He said, why you gotta go to college for? You could go to college right here. Just go to a regular public school or whatever and just get it done like that. He didn't want me to go on campus, Your Honor. He didn't want me to do better for myself.
Your Honor, I don't remember saying any of that. All I know is, Your Honor, I know a lot of females that get pregnant and go to college. My cousin, she went to college
Let me just
and
say
stayed
this.
on campus while she was pregnant.
I heard a man say yes, he attempted to get you pregnant on purpose. What I also heard is you, a young woman, also say that I was sleeping around with him, but I also was sleeping around with another man, unprotected. The man that could potentially be the child's father as well. If you were serious about getting your education, you wouldn't have been engaging in those activities. Because women, young girls that live with purpose, conduct yourself in a certain type of way, and that includes protecting yourself.
Yes, Your Honor.
He could not take away any opportunity you had unless you failed to protect yourself. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, granted, if that was his idea of creating a family, he's a compulsive liar.
Your Honor.
He's a compulsive liar. Not only was she going on to do better, he also lied and said he'd been trying for months to get a DNA test, and I know that firsthand that that's also a lie because I've been there.
Your Honor,
when they tried to do no.
Go ahead.
I've been there when she's tried to do it. I've heard phone calls. I've had to coach her for trying to be there and be there for her child and not go down in the slump because he's not there to do what he's supposed to do. And because of that, I have to pick up the slack. I didn't get a hump, a bump, or a kiss, and none of that. So it's not fair that I got to do it and he lay up like he the man. The devil is a liar. No.
If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell. You said you try to get her pregnant on purpose, and then when she actually has the baby, because you hear rumors, you don't step up, you don't provide for the child?
Your Honor, I was there when she gave birth. I stayed the night.
And then left.
I stayed
and
tonight.
never came back.
Your Honor, I stayed there, Your Honor.
I had to threaten you to come back. I called you on the phone and said, get your punk behind back here to this hospital right
Your
now.
Honor, that's after she had
And he slept
Your
the
Honor,
whole
that's
time
after
here, Your
she had the baby, Your Honor.
And let's not talk about the birth certificate. When you sign it, you'd rather go get high with your cousins and your friends than come there and sign the birth certificate.
Is that true, Mr.
Your Honor,
Harris?
I
Tell the
overslept.
truth. Tell the truth that the Lord love you because you're
I overslept,
You
Your Honor.
overslept
I
for
overslept, Your Honor. and then
on the day that you were supposed to sign
the birth certificate, yes. And I have my son.
Did you sign it?
Did I sign the birth certificate? No.
And to this date, you have not signed it.
I haven't signed it. I cut the umbilical cord. Nobody never came up to me. After that, they moved Aniyla to the incubator where she was, she was doing a little bad. They moved her there.
He wouldn't know because he wasn't there, Your Honor. He wasn't there at all. I watched my baby go from
me right
a
there,
cold
Your Honor.
bed, and they had to throw her onto a warmer.
That's me, Your Honor. Right there. Why she had
But what happened afterwards? That you the first day.
I'm
What about
trying to
after
still
that?
see
It
if
does
this
not
is my
stop
baby.
there. It doesn't stop there. And it's not fair to her to be without her father because you're selfish.
Your Honor,
That's not fair to her.
Your Honor, when I was born, my
That's
father
not
passed
fair.
away when I was a baby. I have a son. I have a
That's
4-year-old
don't
son.
take care of him
I take
either.
care of my
Your
son.
mother takes care of
I
him.
pay child support for my
Your
son.
mother does
I
that.
take care of my son.
Your mother does that.
I take care of my son.
Okay, all right, hold on. Go ahead, Mr. Harrison.
How would they know if I'm taking care of my son?
I was your girlfriend. We was in love, remember?
Okay, you was at the house. Where were you at all the time?
Watching your son when you were
Where were you
outside.
at all the time? Tell the truth.
All right. Let's get back to the child in question. Because ultimately, this does not add to our argument, and it only furthers questions in my mind as if you were with a man that didn't take care of the child he already had. Why would you have sex with a man unprotected where you could potentially get pregnant by him again?
Yep.
And expect anything different to happen? When did these people tell you that she was cheating?
They told me after she had the baby.
I told him myself. I admitted to him when I first found out I was pregnant. When I first told him, I didn't tell him the guy's name. He went through my phone another time, and that's how he found out the guy's name, Your Honor.
I never found out the guy's name, Your Honor. I just found the text messages.
You went through the phone?
I went through
Yes.
the phone and I seen that she was talking to another guy and they was talking about having sex and they was talking about being together with each other.
Was this during the window of conception?
Your Honor, yes, it was. One day, Your Honor,
Okay.
yes. But I was sleeping with him before and after. And Your Honor, how I know? I marked down on a calendar myself when I was sleeping with Mr. Harrison. Not only that, Your Honor, yes, I did have intercourse with someone else one time because Mr. Harrison has cheated on me
only
multiple
takes one
times.
time, Your Honor.
I just wanted him to understand how I felt while he was doing it to me, Your Honor. Yes, it was wrong, and I do realize that.
What is this evidence you have?
I have a calendar where I marked off all the days before and after, Your Honor, when I conceived my baby.
Thank you, Jerome. All of these dates you have circled
Yes, Your Honor.
are dates that you were intimate without protection with Mr. Harrison.
Yes, Your Honor.
And then the baby was born on November 6th.
Yes, Your Honor.
When were you intimate with the other guy?
On February 28th.
So February
It was the
28th.
weekend of my birthday, yes.
So now on February 28th is where you say you had sex with the other guy.
Yes, Your Honor.
How do you end up hooking up with this other guy?
Because, Your Honor, as I stated, he has cheated multiple times. This was a friend of mine. I came to him and I confided in him and I started letting him know things that were going on. And me and this other gentleman, we had intercourse with each other, and that's how it happened, Your Honor.
How are you so certain Mr. Harrison is the child's biological father if you admittedly had sex with this other guy unprotected during the window of conception?
Your Honor, because me and Mr. Harrison had sex multiple times unprotected throughout the day, Your Honor. It was nonstop.
But you do acknowledge that there is a potential that this other guy could be your child's biological father.
Yes, Your Honor, I'm well aware of that.
So when you were pregnant, did you tell the other guy that I'm pregnant and you may be my child's father?
Yes, Your Honor.
What was his response?
He stopped talking to me. He wouldn't have no contact with me.
So ultimately, Ms. Goddard, you believe this man basically just ruined your child's life?
Yes, I do. I believe that she also, like you said, had a choice in that. But I think for him to do it intentionally, which makes it worse, because not only did you do it intentionally, but you just walked away. You came, you dropped your luggage, you didn't even unpack, you left the responsibility on her to do your dirty work. That's not fair. That's not fair. And it bothers me more than anything because I get it. I get it. As women, yeah, we should do better because it's us. And they walk away and don't take the responsibility. I had her. I was 16 years old. And this is the last thing that I would want for her to have to go through the same thing. Because to me, I consider it to be a generational curse. To go from child to child to child to have to deal with suckers like this. Excuse me, Judge. Sorry.
You used a word that I could live with. And so what are your hopes today?
I just want my daughter to know who her father is, and I want him to be there for her because I know what it's like to not have a father.
And how about you, Mr. Harrison?
I was raised without a father, too. My father passed away when I was a baby, and basically, I'm just trying to be a better guy.
No, don't be a better guy, be a better father.
I'm trying to be a father to this baby if this baby is mine.
Don't try, do it. Do it.
So you're saying the loss of your father and living without your father in your life has affected you?
Yes, my mother had to be my father. My mother had to raise me by herself.
Fail.
She has a father. He's not dead. He's not gone. My father is gone. So I want to know, can I be a father to this baby if it is mine?
Do you know how to be a father?
Yes, I know how to be a father. I take care of my son. I take my son to the store. I take him to the park. I do everything for my son. I got him shoes and everything. Just because my mother helps me, that's called helping. My mother helps me to take care of this baby.
I can't tell you anything about his son. Anything about his son at all.
Every time Shanteria was over at my house, Shanteria could tell you she was always in the basement. My son was always upstairs. Either I'm with her, taking care of her, rubbing on her belly. I'm spending time with her and not spending time more with my son. So I realized I needed to spend more time with my son, so I started doing that. I started spending time with my son. My mother goes outside. She does what she wants to do. Simple as that.
And so ultimately, you saw the void not having a father left in your life. And you're attempting to break that cycle with your son. And will continue to try to do that, if I'm correct, if it's determined that Aniyla is your daughter.
Yes, I will continue to do that if Aniyla is my daughter.
And if she is not your biological daughter?
I will go to continue taking care of my son.
Okay. I think it's time for the results, and then I will rule on the lawsuit. Thank you, Jerome. Mm-hmm. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Goddard versus Harrison, when it comes to 8-month-old Aniyla Harrison, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Harrison, you are her father. Now you know.
Yep, and I will be taking care of her, as a real man should.
So despite the arguing that has transpired today, the three of you have something in common, and that's Aniyla. So from here, you've got to use that same energy that you used to cut each other down. You've got to figure out how to now build Aniyla up. So, Ms. Goddard, you were suing for the paternity test, but also because you felt Mr. Harrison had prevented you from the opportunity to go to college by impregnating you on purpose. You haven't proven today that this man said in his mind, I'm going to purposefully get her pregnant for the specific purpose of keeping you from your education and that college opportunity. And let's be honest, even if he said he did, there was another man on deck. So for the reasons I stated, judgment is for the defendant. Mr. Hunter, you opened your case in paternity court because you say there is no way you fathered the defendant's son, Josiah. You worry she's only saying you did because of the financial security you provide for her. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Holden, you admit you were confused about your son's biological father because you were given incorrect medical information, but you are 100% certain Mr. Hunter is the father. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Hunter, you say this is about financial security?
Yes.
Tell the court why you feel that way, sir.
Because I take care of him financially. I do everything. Buy him diapers, milk, and I buy clothes. Everything a father has to do to take care of a child, I do it.
So you're pretty much stepped up as a father.
Yes, ma'am.
You have, but you have doubts.
Yes, ma'am.
But Ms. Holden, has he gotten emotionally attached to Josiah as well?
Yes.
He has?
Yes, Your Honor.
So he pretty much has accepted this child as his own?
Yes, Your Honor.
And so you all are in a relationship?
Yes.
What kind of relationship?
Boyfriend and girlfriend.
You boyfriend and girlfriend?
Yes, ma'am.
So take me back to how this relationship started, because I'm trying to understand how you all are boyfriend and girlfriend, but you have doubts about the paternity, but you still accept and love and are attached to this baby like it's your own.
Yes.
So take me back to this how this relationship started. Where did you meet?
Well, we lived on the same street. I met him when I was 15. Mm-hmm. We both was in a relationship. Then we both became single. I invited him over to my birthday party, and he offered to pay for the booth at the party and offered to buy the cake.
Well, that was a nice gesture for a friend, Mr. Hunter.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have any benefits in the back of your mind that you were looking to get later?
No, ma'am.
You didn't, just a nice guy.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, that's pleasant and refreshing, right, Jerome? So, well, but eventually the benefits did happen, or you wouldn't be here.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So at what point did you all turn this platonic friendship into a sexual relationship? Did you say, what about dating? How did this happen?
The night of the party, we both was intoxicated.
Oh, there we go.
I invited him over, and he came over,
Yeah, but that
and
night,
one thing led to another.
That night we didn't sleep together.
Yes, we did, Your Honor.
Okay, so on the birthday night, you said you did have sex, and Mr. Hunter, you say you did not.
Yeah, we didn't that night.
Yes, we did, Your Honor.
Okay, so let's, all right. Well, okay, I'm not gonna say, I was like, well, Mr. Hunter, it wasn't memorable, what is going on here? Let's move forward. So at some point, you all decide to date.
Yes.
And you decide to continue on with a sexual relationship.
Yes.
So were you having sex with protection?
No.
Here we go. You all haven't agreed on one thing yet. Who said yes?
She said no. I said yes. We were using protection.
No, we wasn't.
Okay. That's what we call reasonable doubt in a criminal court. Reasonable doubt. So now listen. You're having sex. One says you're using protection, one says you're not. Are you having sex with anybody else? Is this a committed relationship, or did you all fall into a sexual relationship without any foundation of a commitment?
We were just friends. It wasn't a committed relationship because I knew she had another friend.
So you knew she had another friend?
Yes, Your Honor.
Was this a friend you were having sex with, Miss Holden?
Yes, Your Honor.
Were you using protection with that friend?
No, Your Honor.
All right. So when you find out you're pregnant, you got one friend that you dating that Mr. Hunter is aware of, and now you've also made this friend, Mr. Hunter, into a sexual partner. When you get pregnant, who do you tell?
Mr. Hunter.
You do?
Yes.
What happened?
I called him over, and he came over, and I was so sleepy, and he was like, "You must be pregnant because I'm sick." He was telling me he was sick. And I was like, "Yes." And then he was like, "Oh, you just broke my heart." And then I was like, "Well, I'm sorry."
Why did it break your heart that she was pregnant, Mr. Hunter?
I didn't want to have no more kids because I have kids.
Okay. Did you assume when she told you that the child was yours?
Yes, ma'am.
You did?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Now, Miss Holden, did you ever say to Mr. Hunter, well, were you still having sex with the other guy too?
No, Your Honor.
Did you think it was Mr. Hunter's child?
Well, I told him that I did sleep with somebody else, and I told him that I do apologize.
You told me it could be.
Well,
it could.
Well, I told him he could be the father.
Right. I could be.
Oh, could. In this courtroom, could is an action word because that means there could possibly be another father.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
All right. So once you heard that, Mr. Hunter, how did you feel?
I was feeling some type of way. I
Explain.
was feeling like, okay, I could be as if like, okay, now you're sleeping with, who knows who you're sleeping with. I've been through other situations in my past to where like now it's like it's a role playing in my head again. Here we go again. Something, the same situation. And it's, when she said she could, it kind of like, it made me feel some type of way.
Because you've been through a paternity situation before?
Yes, ma'am.
And so once this happened, you immediately felt like, here we go again.
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, because I named my son after someone else.
What?
Yeah.
So, Ms. Holden, did you know Mr. Hunter had doubts all this time?
Yes.
You did?
Yes.
Did you invite him to the hospital for the birth?
No, ma'am.
You didn't?
No, ma'am.
This is confusing. Now, you're paying for everything, but you don't want to get attached because of your previous paternity situation.
Right.
But you're accepting his support, right, Ms. Holden?
Yes, Your
But you
Honor.
don't invite him to the hospital?
No, he dropped me
I didn't
off.
want to come anyway. I took her to the hospital. I just didn't want to come because of my past. I didn't want to.
So you drove her all the way there,
Yeah, I took her.
dropped her at the hospital to have the baby,
Yes.
the baby that could be yours,
Right.
but you didn't go upstairs
No.
to participate.
No.
Did you put Mr. Hunter's name on the birth certificate, Ms. Holden?
No, Your Honor.
Did anybody bring a copy of that birth
I have
certificate?
evidence.
I'd like to see that. Jerome, hand me that evidence, please. This is Josiah's birth certificate?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Hunter, is that your last name under?
No, ma'am.
Whose last name is that, Ms. Holden?
The other guy.
The other guy.
So wait a minute. Mr. Hunter dropped you off at the hospital. You gave birth to the baby and named the baby after another man.
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, my goodness. Miss Holden, why would you name your son after someone else if your boyfriend is standing right there?
Because I had 2 different dates from the doctor. I have the evidence to prove to you.
Oh, you brought some evidence? Let me see it.
Yes, ma'am.
Jerome, hand me that evidence. Sure.
May I explain to you?
Yes, please explain to me,
Your
Miss
Honor.
Holden. You brought a calendar.
Yes, ma'am.
Step up to the calendar, please.
In November the 15th, this is when I slept with Mr. Hunter. I went to the doctor. My first due date they gave me was August 2nd.
Okay.
And then I went back to the doctor, and they gave me August 9th, and I slept with the other man on the 18th of November.
So that's just 3 days apart.
3 days apart, yes, ma'am.
So when you had the original due date,
It
for
led
you,
me
you
to
counted
believe,
back.
Yes, that Mr. Hunter was the father.
But then you went back, and sometimes the dates
date,
change
yes.
as they begin to
So that would
examine
make
the
me
baby.
believe the other man was the father of Josiah.
So at that point, you counted back and you felt like in your own mind it was more responsible to give him the other person's name.
Yes, ma'am.
But Josiah was born the
July
22nd of July.
Yes, he was born 3 weeks early. So that made me to believe that Hunter.
Oh, then you flip back and thought it
Yes.
was Mr. Hunter's baby.
Yes.
But you had already put the other guy's name on
Yes,
the birth
Your-
certificate.
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, my goodness. All right, you can return to the podium. Wow. And so did you explain all of this to Mr. Hunter?
Yes, Your Honor.
No. No.
This
ma'am.
really is, this is a mess. This really is. Josiah is named after another man. But now you're in court claiming Mr. Hunter is his biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, Mr. Hunter, when you heard her explain that story, did you feel more convinced that Josiah was yours?
No, Your Honor.
You didn't.
I feel like it's more of a financial than anything because you got the dates they're all mixed up.
Right. I mean, and truth be told, I've done this long enough to know, even with Josiah coming 3 weeks early, if you sleep with 2 different men 3 days apart, unprotected, that's it's called a window of conception for a reason. And so you're still within the window.
Okay.
You in the window of doubt and in the window of confusion. You know, Mr. Hunter, I can see this really bothers you.
I mean, it bothers me because I'm starting to get attached. He recently just started coming to me, so.
I understand. And as a man, you are looking at this baby wondering if it's yours, but you know this baby is coming to you because he thinks you are his daddy.
Right.
And you're starting to form a bond.
Yeah. I mean, he recently just started calling me Dada, so, you know.
That's a beautiful thing when you hear a child say that. And they always say dada first. They do. They do. And I see the tear in your eyes because it's a beautiful thing, right?
Yeah.
And if he's calling you daddy and you're having doubt, what runs through your mind? It's been 8 months.
I just want peace of mind. I just want to know if that's really my child. I mean, I've been through a bad past, so everything I did with Josiah, I never did that before. So that's why I'm so attached.
Yes, you've never been there every morning and seen them begin to crawl around and pull up. What, he's 8 months? Oh yeah, he getting ready to walk soon. So he probably crawling around and pulling up on everything.
Right.
Yes, and testing his boundaries.
Yes.
So, Miss Holden, I see it makes you emotional as well.
Yes, Your Honor. Because I grew up without a father.
How did it affect you growing up without a father?
It affected me emotionally because I was into sports and I didn't have a father figure there to support me. And now I have a little boy that might be a football, anything in sports, and he needed a father there to support him.
And your fear is Mr. Hunter will leave or not be as
Yes.
present in this child's life if it's not his biological child?
Yes, Your Honor. I think he'll leave us.
And it sounds like he's been a pretty good man.
Yes, Your Honor.
To
He's
you.
a very good man.
Where is the other guy? Where is he?
I don't know.
You don't know even where he is.
No, Your Honor.
Did you tell him he could be a possible father?
Yes, Your Honor.
And he has had nothing to do with you or Josiah?
Don't care.
No.
He don't care.
So there is a lot on the line here and the stakes are very high. And the real truth is, Mr. Hunter, we hear a lot of cases. This is what we do each and every day. And given the circumstances and the set of facts you've put forth today, you do have a right to be confused.
Right.
Like I said, a 3-day window is a tight window. I think it's time for the results. Jerome? These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Hunter versus Holden, when it comes to 8-month-old Josiah, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Hunter, you are not the father. so very sorry.
Sorry.
Mr. Hunter, I can see that hurt, and that's not the news I wanted to deliver today.
I'm gonna still be in his life.
Ms. Holden, have you thought about how you will prepare Josiah in terms of finding out potentially where his true biological father is?
Yes, Your
Or
Honor.
reaching back out to this gentleman to let him know?
Yes.
I'm using gentleman graciously.
I could tell you, we don't want to have nothing to do with him. If it takes all of that to be a father to the child, we don't need it.
Well, let me say this before we go. Every child has a right to know who their biological father is.
Right.
That doesn't mean that person is going to step up to the plate and do what they're supposed to do. But they have a right to know who they are, and they also have the right to be supported by that man. And I'm just going to say this to you. Whether or not he chooses to be physically present in Josiah's life will be his own choice. But he is responsible to help take care of that child. It is beautiful and gracious that you stepped up to the plate, Mr. Hunter, but I'll tell you what, you need to go back to that courtroom in your home state and make sure he takes care of that child, because one day Josiah may need that.